Okay, yeah. Hello, hi everybody. Big welcome to this week's Soul Spotlight podcast. And I today am joined by my beautiful guest, Debbie Mcleod. Debbie is just amazing. The work that she brings to us all at this time is absolutely incredible. So I'm not going to say any more about her at the moment. I'm just going to ask her now to please introduce yourself, Debbie, and a huge welcome and thank you so much for coming on this podcast with me today.
Oh, thank you, Jane. It's a pleasure to be here. As lovely to be able to chat to people as well and chat to yourself. So, yep, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a cough, but I'm an energy transformation coach. And alongside that, I integrate, I suppose, 25 years of being a spiritual guide, a mentor, a medium, an intuitive. I run women's circles and retreats. I'm also a celebrant and a radio presenter.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
so with
Amazing.
that's my curiosity and my love, really. So working on that divine level with spirit is my passion.
Okay. Right. That's wonderful. Thank you, Debbie. Wow. There's so much there. So many amazing things there. So many magical ingredients, as I like to call them, that are going into the melting pot all the time, which is just fantastic. Um, so yeah, let's, if you don't mind, I'll just break that down a little bit more
Mm, mm,
now. So
yeah.
I'd like to ask you first of all,
Mm,
one of the things that I know because I had a very quick peek at your profile for not long, literally 2 minutes. Um, Mystic Hedge Witch is one of the things on your website. So could you tell us a bit about that, please?
yeah, that's all to do with another thing I love is nature.
Yeah.
So for me, the witch held kind of like lots of different connotations with it over the years. And then when I realized that actually it's just me expressing myself that actually likes herbs and drumming and rituals and ceremony and nature and foraging, then actually they just all went together. And over the years, it simplified that word witch and spells and all the myths that go around that, and being able to tap into your intuitive wisdom and to be able to work with nature and the cycles of nature for me is what I love to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, that's wonderful. That's great. So, um, another way of looking at that would be these days, hedge witch is lovely, but also medicine woman is
Mm,
how I perceive
yep.
actually and perceive you in that particular role in your life, working with nature,
Yeah.
working with all of the medicine of nature, actually, and bringing that through.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And I really feel that tribal energy as well,
Mm,
which is lovely because I like my solitude, but actually feeling the ancestral tribal energy and also working with the elements of the land
mm.
is a very natural thing for me to do. And years ago, I never realized that. I never realized that they were my happy places, if you like. But now over the years, I've realized that I feel at home now.
Yeah, that's good. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So was there like an aha moment where that realization dropped in for you really strongly?
Yeah, I think that the very first time I ever had contact with the energy, the energy of things, I was about 12, 13, and I'd gone away. We used to have to go to Christian camp as a child. And
Mm.
I'd gone away into the Derbyshire Hills here in the UK. And I'm presuming we must have been doing some singing. And I came outside and I literally felt the full force of energy just like rip through my body. And I just felt like I looked up to the stars and I thought, I feel so connected to everything around me. It was just like this euphoric feeling. And then it went. And
Yeah.
then that lay dormant for years until after my dad passed away. And then
Hmm.
when I was in my early thought 40s, so it's a long time now since my dad's passed, and I went to see a medium, and I was having a reading, and I was really lost at the time, really just didn't know where I was and what I was doing. And she said, I think you need to go here. And she handed me a leaflet, and I went on a retreat in the middle of Wales. And it was a mediumship week, but I didn't realize it was mediumship at the time. I just thought it was like, oh, a bit of pampering and a bit of,
Yeah.
meeting other women and things like that. But it completely changed my life on all levels by going there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That sounds fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And isn't that just so amazing that that particular medium
yep,
opened that for you as well? That is just fantastic, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, absolutely lovely. And I thank her to this day.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And me realizing that, wow, it was like my home again. So it was returning to that 12, 13-year old that was like, oh God, I want to know more about this. I want to just do everything I can. And then everything fell into place after that.
Yeah. 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 It just goes to show, doesn't it? It's always about the right timing.
Yeah,
Isn't it? Yeah. Things happen when they're meant to.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your mediumship
Mm,
development then,
mm,
okay, obviously something happened there when you were 12 or 13 years old. It was like a huge awakening for you with
yeah,
that, immediate connection with just literally everything.
yeah.
And then, as you say, it left. The leaving of that, was that partly to do with anything that was going on in your life at the moment? Was it because you were not comfortable with that at that stage, or was it for some other reason?
I don't know, to be fair. I just felt as though it had almost opened me up, and then it had almost kind of like, there was, I had this feeling that said, we'll wait for you.
Yeah. Mm.
And that's, until the right time. And then when my dad passed, it was 10 years after he passed that I started to grieve.
Right. Okay.
So, and that was when I'd gone on that retreat.
Yes.
Same time. And then
Mhm.
whilst I was on that retreat, my dad's face literally came to me. His energy was with me all week. So lots of messages from him. Had healing on the retreat, and I came back and remember saying to my mum, "Oh, mum, I've just spent a week with my dad." And my mum went, "Oh, that's nice." And I don't think she really understood, but I know that she did understand. We just never talked about it again. Um, and um, and that's when everything then, like I said, fell into place. I found a development group. I used to go away a lot on different mediumship courses and be around people that were developing mediums and mediums as well. And I just loved it. Just love that connection to spirit and bringing through somebody's loved one on that level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's a beautiful
yeah,
thing to do. It's just
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, okay, Debbie.
Mm,
With your mentorship that you do, your mentorship work, do
mm.
you do mentoring for people who want to train to be mediums? Is that something that you offer?
Well, I think part of the process that I've found over the years
Yeah,
is that my idea of mediumship has changed as it's grown, it's evolved.
yeah.
So I am working towards and working with women. If they want to make that connection to the spirit and to their intuition, then that's great. And I can certainly support and help them there.
Mhm.
But I am not the guru. I'm not, the expert, if you like, in that way.
Mm.
The people are themselves the experts. It's just that I find that need to untap that connection to themselves, because I believe that the most important relationship we'll ever have is the one that we have to ourselves,
Mm.
and then to the divine, however people see that, God, angel, spirit, whatever they see. But that's then. And then when we have that secure relationship, then we can have that same relationship with the outside world and family and friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So therefore, what a lot of the mediumship training was around my self-doubt, criticism, the inner critic. It was like a boot camp for
Mm,
for the years that I was training, and it was like about learning to trust myself, about being authentic. It was about healing. It was about letting go and surrendering, and all those things that kind of stop us from being who we naturally are, you
yeah,
know? So I think that I get people into a space where they can feel held, where they can feel supported, and they will feel that love of the spirit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
just absolutely wonderful. Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Debbie.
yeah,
Yes, as you say, it's hugely about doing the inner work, but
mm,
held space as well, because yes, okay, we can do inner work on our own, but we can
yeah,
only do so much on our
yes,
own, can't we? We need someone else to
yeah,
hold that space for us and
yeah.
actually to help us to trust. Trust is a huge thing. So if we're held in a safe space by somebody else, for
Yeah.
that allowing to happen, it makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
It really does, Jane. I see that time and time again. I see it in my retreats, at my circles, when I'm working one to one with people. I'm able to tune into that frequency of where they are, what they need to unblock,
Hmm.
what they need to let go. As a for instance, I had a lady that came to me, and we were doing some work, one to one work, and what we uncovered was that she was still trying to get her dad's approval, and her dad had been dead for or passed away for a number of years.
Yeah.
But that cycle was still going on. And by me being able to work with the energy between the two of us, then we allowed that realization, that intuitiveness to come forward, and the coaching questions, and for her to understand that is what's happening. That is what's happening to me. And then you can physically see that release.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
like a huge weight, isn't it,
yeah,
leaving,
yeah,
when that happens. That's just fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Rather than me telling her
Mm,
this is it, she
yeah,
actually, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I love that. I love what you said just there, right? Rather than you telling her, it's
yeah.
about her discovering and finding and feeling that for herself.
Yeah. And then that's where the energy switches. And that's where then you get an understanding of why you've been doing what you're doing on a subconscious level, because it's just a cycle that you keep doing. So therefore, if you never felt you got, in her instance, her father's approval, she's always going to be looking outside for that approval.
Yeah,
So whether it's male or female, it doesn't matter. But that's where then that voice of ours gets diminished. That's where our intuitiveness gets diminished, because we're looking for the answers outside of ourselves. And
yeah,
actually, the answers are all inside of ourselves.
mm,
It's just whether people want to do the work.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
Mm.
exactly what it comes down to, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
If people are willing, if they're ready,
Yeah.
is the thing, isn't it? If they're ready, because if they're not ready,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
No, definitely not going to happen. And also as well, if you come back and think, oh, I'll just do this and then that'll change my life. And I won't have to do anything again. I'm healed or whatever, it's like that is you've got rose-colored glasses on, because that's just not going to happen, is it at all? We
Yeah.
all love that though, Jay.
We do, we do. Yeah, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it, to just sort of say, right, okay, I'm going to put my request out to the universe today. Right, this is what I want, and now I'm just going to sit on the sofa, feet up, watch Netflix or something, and wait for it to drop
Yeah,
in my lap. Because
yeah.
it's not going to, is
No,
it? It's
it
just not.
isn't. No. And also as well, I think there's a lot of women who think they have to make big changes as well
Yeah,
for things to be right, but they're looking on the outside of those changes
yeah,
rather than being guided. Like I'm just thinking like about reconnecting with that inner wisdom that we have, that innate wisdom that is inside of us, and it doesn't matter what age, and embodying their own truth.
Yeah.
embodying that, because whilst that is logical, there's so many emotions that go on inside of us that are not expressed, that have been repressed. So therefore we don't know what those emotions are. So, vulnerability, we might suddenly feel upset or disconnected or crying or whatever the emotion brings up, but we can dismiss it. And
Yeah.
actually what we're doing is we are dishonoring our body and our wisdom and our voice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so therefore we can then further down the road feel resentful, feel angry, all of those type of things. And then we keep drawing that energy towards us,
Yeah.
because nothing I'm saying is not going to take courage and responsibility
Mm.
for ourselves and the way that we feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does take courage. Absolutely, it
Yeah.
does, doesn't it? To
Yeah.
step into that and really own it fully. That takes tremendous courage. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you are transforming your life from the
Mm.
inside out, not
Yeah.
the outside in.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's very, very important. It's very important to understand that process of who we are,
Yeah.
deeper
Definitely.
level.
Yeah. Hugely
Mm.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm dying to ask you about your celebrant work
Oh
as well.
yeah.
I absolutely love celebrants. I think they're just so amazing. So could you tell us about your work and how did that happen? How did that come about for you, Debbie?
Well, I've always been drawn to rituals, and when I was down in Somerset, I lived down there for about 3 years, I think it was, and I was nature was all around me, woods and trees were all around me, so I used to go out a lot, and I just happened to, um, and it was stumble across um, this course to do Celebrant whilst I was down there. So I thought, well, I like rituals. I'm,
Mm,
connected to the land. I'm connected to the divine. So why not? Why not do that? So I did that. And then I did weddings in, vow renewals in, which I do love. I do love vow renewals. And in she hired a private wood, so they hired a private wood, and we had straw hay bales, made this beautiful circle from of acer leaves. It was just beautiful, very
mm,
boho type ceremony. And I worked with the elements, so I called in the four elements, and I just love it. And actually, I think it was himself, the groom, who'd lost his father, and I said to him, "Would you like me to bring in the energy of your father?" And he said, "I would love that." So just by saying that, the energy was already there. Just by
yeah.
saying, "Yes, I'd love that." So that's what I was able to do. I'm doing another one in July, and that's going to be in a barn. And that's going to be the same, the naturalness. It has to be with, for me, it's all about nature.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
that's
think it's just that the fact that you can say those vows that you really want to say, that
mm,
really matter to you, and that they're personal and they're unique. They're not what the law says, because you've already had that ceremony.
yeah.
And but this is about involving people in the audience as well, children, animals, whatever you feel can make that contribution to your day
Mm,
more, more grounded, exciting and personal, really.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah, I love that. I love that you're working with the natural elements as well
Mm.
in those ceremonies and rituals. Yeah, just absolutely adore
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I know. It's
Yeah.
just so connected, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's wonderful. Now, all these strings that you have to your
Oh,
bow,
yeah.
as they say, it's just extraordinary. Um, but they all link, don't they? They all
Mm.
link so beautifully together.
They do. And at first I thought, oh, they feel like one of those jack of all trades and master of none. But
Mhm.
actually, it isn't like that. I realized over the years, it isn't like that. I like variety. It's where I work best with variety. So therefore, I know that whatever area I'm working on, I can call in that energy to suit best that environment and the people that I'm working with,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just be that channel for that pure love. Because,
Mm.
years ago I did a Reiki course and became a Reiki master. But one of the things that I found uncomfortable with that was the symbols. So I know myself. So when I was practicing, I'd be like, oh, was the symbol this way or was it this way? And in the end, I just went, do you know what, guys? Do you know what, Spirit? You know what the person needs. I'll just be the channel. You do it, because otherwise I'll be worrying I've done it all the wrong way around.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, yeah,
really. Yeah, it gets in the way, doesn't it? And it can
yeah,
block the flow of
yes,
energy as well and take you out of that center. And
yeah,
when you're thinking about, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Am I doing that right? Doing that? I
yeah,
know exactly where you're coming from with that because I had
yeah,
quite a few years of that myself. So I
yeah,
do understand totally what you're saying there.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's just lovely to just give it up and give it over.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just let go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely, and
yeah,
let them do it because after all, it's our guides that are doing the
mm,
work, isn't it? It's
yeah,
that they do the work.
yeah,
We of course we're important in as much as
yeah,
we know the channel and we hold the space for that. But yeah,
yeah,
letting that go and bringing in as much variety, I think is so important. I love that. I mix things up all the time with
yeah,
my work, and I adore it. The more the merrier, as far as I'm
yes,
concerned.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's that thing of life, isn't it? It's
it is.
just the way it
Yeah,
should be, I feel.
exactly. That's right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because
Uh,
if you're very rigid in your approach, then
mm.
actually you're not learning either.
No,
Do you know
no,
what I mean?
no,
So,
no,
yeah, if you've got a client, if you've got a group where you're kind of knowing that you're in that leadership role, then
mm,
actually you've got to work with the energy that's in there. Because if you've got, groups, and they're obviously, we're all individuals, and they're all bringing that energy of themselves into that circle, into that room, whatever it is, then we've got to be able to hold that space and make that energy balanced, fluid, and grounded,
yeah,
so that we can hold that space for them for whatever their guide, the divine, has, their angels, has in store for them for that session, that evening, whatever it is. Because it's not for us to say what they need.
no,
It's for us, like you said there, to hold that space, to allow somebody to feel safe and heard and held,
mm,
and to let the energy work and
yeah,
let that connection work for their highest good.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, let go of any need to control, I think is
yeah,
really important, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
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 okay,
yeah.
that's fantastic, thank you. Um, so your animal communication
Hmm.
work as well, I adore that, absolutely. So yeah, I'd really love to hear more about that as well, please. If you could share
Yeah,
with us some stories maybe about the animals that you've communicated with and, how
yeah,
that went would be wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started with my daughter losing our beloved Inca. She was a Doberman and we lost her very quickly. And my daughter and the children were all distressed. And she called me one night afterwards and said, Mum, I'm so upset. I can't stop crying and what have you. And I just immediately felt like these big angel wings wrapping around me.
Mm.
When I was driving and I pulled off the side of the road, and the minute I stopped, I could feel this energy, like these big wings coming around me, and I knew I'd got Inca with me. And I knew that my daughter didn't need to know that, but I knew that whatever I said would be the right way of expressing it. And after
Yeah,
we talked, she said, "Oh, I feel so much calmer, Mum, now. I feel so much better." And I said, "Oh, that's good, lovey." And then after that, I thought there has to be more. if that happened, there has to be more about this. And then I saw lots of synchronicities and signs. So, like Pets at Home van, the super vet was around at that time more, on our TVs and what have you. And I thought, oh, there's another sign, there's another sign. And then I
Yeah.
saw dogs and horses and cats and things like that. And I was thinking, oh, okay. So I decided that I would write a little book for the vets. And then that I put it out on Facebook, and what happened was I got 20 people who said yes. So I said, okay, we'll do some animal communication, we will do some healing, and I will be able to reconnect you to that beloved animal that you've lost in whatever circumstances. And with those 20 people, I did that, and some of them were people whose cats had walked out the door and never come back.
Mm.
And so I took her on a journey and brought in the animal so that she could feel the animal. And then I gave her time to talk to that animal in a way that she wanted to talk. So
Yeah.
almost as though she was having that last conversation. And then the healing came from that. So I did that. And I've worked with people with horses, people whose dogs have been put to sleep, just a variety of animals. Variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it is such an important, I think, an amazing thing to do because there is such a need for it.
yeah.
It really is. There's a huge, huge, huge need for that.
Is there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right. But
Mm.
also as well, I think the thing that I find is that um, when we look at an animal, we can look at an animal, but also we can look at the soul of an animal, and it goes deep into that. And
Mm.
I found a lot in my work where people have a soul mate animal.
Yeah.
So they may have lots of animals, but there'll be a soulmate.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
my belief is that that soulmate will come into their lives when they need them most, in whatever way that they do. And then when they've gone through that healing and that journey, then the animal moves on.
Yeah.
And so they're in a better space than when the animal came into their life at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
So that's heartbreaking, of course. And
Mm.
I'd feel the same when my little Miss Molly goes, but definitely came into my life when I really needed her.
Yeah.
The softness, the tenderness, the depth, the tone of my voice, everything she's taught me over the years
Mm.
about softness and tenderness of myself.
Yeah.
So, not in the way I express things, and the harshness that would have been coming from me, in just put it saying no and those type of things. Now I'm more aware of how I speak and the way I need to get my energy into a place to be able to say to her no. And
Mm.
doesn't need to be said loud. She just needs to understand that I mean it
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
she's crossing a boundary. Whereas I didn't do that right at the very beginning.
Mm.
So we've been on a bit of a journey, but definitely animals have that yeah, I don't know. I remember working with horses once, and horses are very much into, they show you your leadership, horses, about the energy of you, and they're very intuitive as well. And yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
They are.
It just sounds wonderful. I love all animals. Yeah, it's really, really wonderful the things that you've said there, Debbie, and anyone who's tuning in or watching this podcast, I'm sure that they are going to really connect with that as well, because as I said, I feel that there is a big need for people that can do that from a space of being authentic as well,
Yeah,
because that's really, really important. Because don't you? You know, if someone's brought your particular loved one through, be that an animal or a person,
yeah,
you know
yes,
if that connection is genuine or not. And I think it's the genuineness that is sometimes lacking.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very, very, very much so. And I found that in my whole mediumship journey
yeah,
about, that on the outside things might look great, but actually behind those doors,
mm,
completely different story. So,
yeah,
and it took me, Jane, a long while to own my mediumship.
mm,
I remember thinking, I don't want to tell somebody I've got their dad if I haven't. So I
mm,
used to say to Spirit, I need this, this, and this. And if you give me those, then I know that I can connect easily and
Yeah.
that the person can feel that. So that was very important to me, very
Yeah.
important.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think that when we have, I think, women that are very sensitive to energies, and there's a lot of self-doubt there,
Mm,
isn't there? And yet I love teaching beginners because they can never see the beauty in themselves. And it's there. It's absolutely there. And
yeah.
it's, I always say it's my job to bring that out in people and to nurture them on that journey because that's what I didn't have.
Mm,
I didn't have that softness and that tenderness and that nurturing. And that's what people feed back to me, that's what I give. So yeah.
definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. And for somebody just starting out, or reconnecting even
Yeah,
with that energy, that spiritual life that maybe they've shut down for whatever reason a long time ago, that's very, very, very usual, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, to, as you say, to have somebody to nurture that and to
yeah,
gently hold that space and, to
yeah,
get them to, not get them to, but help them to
yeah,
understand, as you say, the beauty of who they are,
yeah,
their
yeah,
pure soul essence that
yeah.
dwells in them.
And I think also as well, that's why I was talking about our sacred voices, is because actually when we are speaking on that frequency, when we are holding our truth and speaking authentic, when we're in our empowerment, our power of ourselves, and understand the value that we bring
Yeah,
that's not attached to money, but the value that we inherently own and is our birthright in that sovereignty of it. When people can get to that stage and understand that, then their life can change in many ways because they're actually owning it and they don't need anybody else to tell. So they show up as themselves,
yes,
everything that they've got, and they embody that truth, like I've said, and that value because this is who I am.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
not from an ego point of view, it's
mm,
actually from this long journey
yeah,
that we've been on that actually understands this is who I am, and I'm ready now to take up space.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So
yeah, yeah,
again, holding that space, holding that work and doing that work for others, is just absolutely amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
again, the timing, I know there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not no, I can't even think of the word now, but with the time thing, which is a bit strange, isn't it? Because the only place we have time is here
Yeah,
on planet Earth. It doesn't exist anywhere else. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we're talking about the right timing and divine timing, but,
yeah.
I don't know what other word we could call it really, but, it's all about
No,
being in that place at that particular moment
yeah,
where things can just drop in and
yes,
wake you up
yeah.
and, set you off on
Mm.
that pathway.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think you're right because I think the heart hears the frequency.
Mm.
So when you're having healing or you're talking to somebody or you're giving somebody a smile, if it's deeply genuine and it comes from the heart, that will heal.
Mm. Yes.
Even just a smile can heal somebody. It can change a person's energy and you have to do nothing. You just have to be yourself.
Yeah.
But you have to be in that space of loving yourself and the self-care and understanding your worth and understanding your value.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you say, a smile can change somebody's whole day,
Yeah.
can't it?
Yeah.
Literally, it can. It can change the way they feel,
Yep.
everything, just by smiling at somebody, which
Yeah.
does
And
nothing, does
and
it?
also, I think also as well, I don't think we're used to being heard. So
Mm,
I think that, we might apologize. Oh, I don't want to take up time. I don't want to do this. Or to be deeply heard is a
mm.
real skill when you are working with people to allow them to be deeply heard.
Yes.
isn't it? Because, you know,
Yeah.
so busy, so life, like you were just saying, the
Mm.
energy is quick, the energy is fast. And so people are busy and social media and all those different things.
Yeah.
But actually, there's so much going on inside of ourselves that when we have to say something, we don't take the time to say it and to reflect. We want to get it out as quick as we can and then move on. Or kind of say, I'm really sorry, you know, to have taken up your time, or we make apologies. Where actually when we know when we're really deeply hurt, don't we?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very true.
Yeah.
Um, what else was I going to ask you? Sorry, Debbie, something dropped into my head a moment ago. It seems to have dropped out again. Come back, whatever it was that you've been asking about. Oh dear. Yes, I know what I was going to ask you. If Yeah, what would you say? Right. So with your work as a medium, as a hedge witch, as a intuitive mentor, as an animal communicator, celebrant, all of that, right, which is
Yeah.
immense and massive, is there one thing that stands out for you, like a moment or a breakthrough or something that was humorous or something that really changed somebody or something dramatically, shall we say, or just subtly and then gradually build? Is there something that you can tell, like a story, I suppose, is what I'm looking for? Yeah, just
Yeah.
something that pops out.
I don't know. Well, I suppose, I mean, I present on the radio. So
Yeah.
I do my radio show and I've started to have guests on now.
Mm,
And so I have my students, sorry, my ladies who come to Circle. And I decided that it would be nice to have them on the show to talk about their journey.
mm,
So we've been doing that. So it's very interesting about how um, people come with notes, loads and loads of notes on the topic about what they're going to say.
yeah.
So I'm like, so I remember saying to one lady, Kathy, I said, now, Kathy, I said, we might not have time for all those questions and this, that, and the other. And she was so disappointed. I've spent 2 hours, Debbie, writing all this. I've spent ages answering all your questions. So I went, Kathy, we just have to go with the flow and we'll see how it goes. And she was like, oh, okay, but you know, I don't know about this, Debbie. I said, okay. So we went with the flow. And then when I was playing a record, I say, just tick off what we've talked about. And by the end of the 2 hours, we'd covered everything that she had on that sheet, but not in the way that she expected, in the way to just work. So there were low, wait a minute, I'm just ticking them all off. I'm just ticking them all off. And then she went, oh, I've covered it all. And I was like, yes, I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see. So that was one thing that was funny about that preparation and about thinking we're not ready enough
Mm,
to be able to do the things that somebody has asked us to do. And actually, by providing that safe environment and encouragement, it kind of it put her at ease, but she'd done all that preparation before, which we all do. And I've been a teacher for years, and
mm,
actually my teaching plans were done, like for months in advance, and then they just have to change on the day. Now there
yeah,
is one, it might be a slip of paper, and
exactly.
it's like,
Yeah.
or I just turn up,
Yeah.
and this is it. And
Me
it's like,
too, yeah.
yeah. So before I was an avid note taker of absolutely everything. And then I'd be missing everything that was being said, or just,
Mm,
like, oh, relaxing because I only need to take in what I can take in,
yeah. Yeah.
trusting that
That's right.
process. And it was just like, oh, yeah, okay, amazing. But I have met some funny people on my journey, as in
Mm,
beautiful souls that have helped me on to the next step, and just done lots and lots of things. I've had loved ones come through where they've been very funny messages, and I'm like, do you really want me to say this? And it's like, yeah. And then the people would go, oh yeah, that was it, that's what he'd say, that's what she'd say. I'm
oh,
like,
that's
oh,
great.
okay then. Fair enough. It's just, yeah. I think the other thing is as well is we can get very serious about our journeys,
Yeah.
about doing things right.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that if we can lighten up and do things in a light-hearted laughter way. So I have, especially with the inner critic. So I have a little parrot that sits on my shoulder, and she's called Doris, and that's my inner critic.
Yeah.
And then I will go, it's okay, Doris, I've got this.
Yeah.
It's okay. Or I hear you, Doris. Thank you for that. But that little parrot always seems to be there. Ba, 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 ba. And I'm like, not today, Doris. I'm okay today. I can do this. Those type of things. But I just like giving little names to things because it helps me through the things that, because we continue with all of these. But nowadays, Doris' voice is not so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I think
Or,
naming
or,
everything
or
is
I
good.
can catch her, Jane. I go, don't
Don't,
say
yeah.
that, Doris. Don't say that.
Well, that's fantastic. It's good that you're aware that she's about to start.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think naming things and naming our helpers because she's trying to help.
Yeah,
She thinks she's trying to help.
he's trying to help, and I,
Yeah.
I go,
So
like,
to
thank
give them a
you.
name is good, isn't it? Because it
Yeah,
personalizes that relationship as well,
yeah,
which becomes a bit more
yeah,
easier, I think, to just say, right, no, not today. It's okay. I'm fine.
yes,
Of course.
yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. I hear you. But we're okay. Okay,
Yeah.
go and have something to eat.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Come back later. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. No, I love that. I love all the lightness and the joy as well, because that is so important. And as you say, we can get so caught up in the heaviness of everything.
yeah.
We kind of catch sight of ourselves in the mirror sometimes, don't we? And think, oh God, what am I doing? What am I doing?
I know. But you know what? Going back to that story about the Reiki and the symbols, at the time, I didn't realize how powerful that lesson was
Mm,
at that time because I thought to myself, oh, guys, spirit, what the person needs. We'll just do it that way. So that's one of the reasons I would never teach Reiki.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll teach angel Reiki because I bring in the power of the angels.
yeah,
I don't use symbols. So I use the angels as the symbols. And that sits more comfortably with me than actually having to teach something that I don't. So I've never done that. I don't teach what I don't love or agree with.
mm,
And if I teach, then it has to be my way
yeah,
of getting and working with spirit to get the best from that person at that time.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. As you say, really valuable lesson, wasn't it, with the Reiki, with the symbols, and then deciding, no, I'm going to go around this in a different way, because
Yeah.
there's always another way,
Yes.
isn't
Yeah.
there? Always. Yeah.
Always. Always. And if there's not another way, there's a back door.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm,
true.
I am a can do it person. So if I can't find a way, I will find a way
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
to get on with things, and I won't let that stop me from
Mm,
doing things. And I think that's where the innovator in me comes out, and they're like, right, we're doing this, and we'll just go off and do it, and not know what the outcome might be.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there's lots and lots of things when you think about this timetable of life.
Mm,
Have to do this and we have to do. Now, I was brought up that way. We have to get married, we have to have children, because I was in the army and I had to leave the army because I was pregnant and in those days. And actually, my life then was all timetabled out. This is what it would be like as a an army wife, as an army mother, those type of things. So it was very much that timetabled way of doing things. And actually it takes courage to think, actually, yeah, no, I'm not really happy with this. I'm not going to do it this way. And we might find that we have courage in one area and be empowered in one area, but not in another.
yeah.
So when you take it across the board of empowering ourselves, it is in love, it's in life, and it's in leadership. So it's those three things, because we might feel we might have no power at home, but we have power at work, or it might be the other way around, and
Yeah.
it needs to balance itself because that is imbalanced.
Mm. No, that's really good, actually, Debbie. I think that's great. Yeah, because like you say, it's not the same, is it? It's not the same across the board. We do feel more powerful in certain areas than we do in others.
Yeah. So the work needs to be in the others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so that's exactly where it needs to go, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the others, so they come up to the same level, which would be
Yeah.
great. Then, like you say, it's balanced and you're
Yeah.
harmonized and everything can flow so
Yeah.
much more easily from that space. Yeah.
I mean, and actually, then you are taking leadership and ownership of your own life in every area of your life, because it would be easy just to have the power in one area and
Mm,
not in the other areas, because you don't have to look at the shadow then. You don't
no,
have to, because you're okay and you can go through. But what I have found is that women will reach that light bulb moment. They will. They will
mm,
reach it. And when sometimes they may have had lots and lots of intuitive hits. I need to change this. I'm not happy here. Oh, it's okay. It balances itself out. That will never go away. It will
no,
never go away. It will just keep, that little voice comes back and back and back. And each time it comes back, it's more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable until we have to do something. We may get poorly. So, all the outside things that have worked before for us will collapse. They will, because we're actually not in balance with ourselves.
yeah, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, everything crumbles away, doesn't it, to
Yep.
reveal
Yep.
what we need to be,
Yes.
actually. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember having three crumbles very quick. So
Mm,
I lost my mum. I ended my relationship, and my daughter got married in the space of 3 months.
right. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah, definitely.
That was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah,
Mm,
that was a lot. But I was ready. I was
yeah.
ready for that. I didn't think at the time I was, but it was like, okay, let's yeah, let's work with that. Yeah,
No,
because it's
that's
the truth emerging all the time.
yes.
The other thing I wanted to say about mediumship is I know my mum more now than I did when she was alive.
Mm, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Really does. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you're in frequent contact with your mum, are you?
Yeah, with both of them, I could just feel that energy. Certainly my mum loved animals,
Yeah.
and well, my girls love animals as well. We all do, but it's kind of like it's interesting because when I was a child, I used to spend a lot of time with my dad.
Mm,
And I just adored being around my dad. And my mum I saw as the authoritarian. No, the structure, the schedules, all of those type of things. And it was only when my mum passed away, which is what, about 17 years ago now,
mm,
is that I understood the struggle that she'd been through, that ancestral line, more and more. I knew of it, but I understood it more and more. And I know that when we start to heal ourselves, we heal those 7 generations back. So, my mum who tried to speak up, my mum who tried to be independent, wanted more for us, that driven woman. And
yeah.
my grandma had no voice, and my grandmas had no voice.
Mm,
So it was, you could see along that pattern. But I realized the courage it must have taken for my mom, the dedication, all the things that she went through, where she couldn't necessarily show that softness, because
yeah.
for her that would have been vulnerable, and it would have been seen as like somebody needs to take control. So
Mm,
she took it, and so therefore I rebalanced that relationship with my mum.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is really, really wonderful and lovely.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Oh,
Your radio show
mm,
that you mentioned briefly a little while ago,
yeah.
when do you do that? How often do you do that?
So I do it once a week. It's
Yeah.
on a local radio station, but it is actually, so it's internet based, so it goes around the world.
Mm,
Um, so it's on a Sunday 8 till 10, on bcradio.co.uk.
okay. Yeah.
So each week I talk about a different topic. So last week was around the inner critic, and I give a spiritual take on it, and I play songs as well.
Mm.
go with it. And so I've done every subject under the sun, every word under the sun, and I keep going on a deeper level each time. So it's just to understand that, and I've had guests on that talk about their relationship to trust, their relationship to self-worth, their relationship to procrastination. So it looks at all those. Next week, I've got somebody coming on talking about radiance, which is gratitude, positivity, joy. So, and her journey towards that.
Yeah.
So it's an eclectic mix.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So 8 till 10, do you mean in the evening, or is it 8
Yes, in the
till...
evening.
No, I was gonna say it's
Uh, yeah,
so,
Sunday evening.
okay, 8 till 10. I'm just double checking because I know some people do that. They
Yeah.
do the whole day thing and into the evening as well, which is amazing.
No, no, just a couple of hours, and then you can catch it on replays as well.
Okay, right. That sounds wonderful. I will have
Yeah,
to tune into that actually.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
lovely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And people can text in, or they can call in, or they can message me on Facebook. So yeah,
Right. Okay. Yeah. So many ways to reach you, which we will come to in a few minutes' time. But I just wanted to just say to you, if somebody is watching this now or listening to this, where they are, and again, they're just at that stage where they're starting to notice the signs that are being sent to them. They're starting to maybe hear the whispers or just sense that something needs to change
Mhm.
with them right now.
Yep.
What would you say to them? Well, what would be the best way for them to take that first step?
Mm. Well, I would say to to say to themselves, "Well done." That's the
Mhm.
first thing I'd say. I would say like, thank you to myself for bringing that up, knowing that there's more to life, there's more to me. And that is what is trying to be expressed. I
Yeah,
would nurture that, whether that might be through creativity, because I love doodling. So it could be that way, it could be through art, take a paintbrush, take a colour, whatever it is, and just tune into that energy. Sit in nature, ground yourself, connect yourself up to the stars and the universe, and then just bring that energy down. There are so many different energy practices now that
yeah,
people can do, but I would really self-acknowledge that's the first step. And then I would look at, I personally, I used to journal. Um, this happened today. I saw this today. Because what we're doing by writing it down or noting it, however we choose to do that, is we are saying thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We might not know how they all fit together. It might be a song on the radio. It could be anything, but it's acknowledging that we are receiving that intuitive wisdom,
yeah,
and that we need to take action on this, not
yeah,
just to push it down and think, oh, I've got to get on with this and I've got to be busy, busy, busy. Because, when we're first learning, we need that time and we need that space to understand ourselves. Because in mediumship, we have clairvoyance, we have clairsentience, we have clair knowing, we have clairaudient. And I always say that spirit get to us in the quickest way. And mine
mm,
was through being sensitive. So I was at the beginning clairsentient. So I
yeah,
sensed something. So that is the quickest way that spirit would get through to me.
yeah, right,
So
yeah.
it's to nurture those to yeah, yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's wonderful. I think it's lovely, clear, simple
Yeah,
advice,
yeah,
and I really like that. And it's definitely something that you can grab hold of, easily.
yeah,
You say either with journaling or painting or just getting outside, connecting
yeah.
with nature, like you were saying, all of these kind of things. And most of all, saying thank you
Mm.
to
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
for everything that's...
Giving you that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
if you take it as it's rising up within you, it's
mm,
waiting to be heard.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and in essence, it's that little 7-year-old that is waiting to be heard. It's that little girl inside of us that says, I'm here. I'm support, I need to be heard. I need
Yeah.
to be accepted. I need to be adored. I need to be loved. And that's what we're talking to. And that's what we need to, as women, think about nurturing that little 7-year-old girl that wants to be loved and heard and adored and accepted. That's what
Yeah.
she wants. That's what she craves because she didn't have that.
Yeah.
Or if she had it, it was not always in an authentic way.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's very potentially hard to hear that, but it is what we need to look after ourselves
Yes.
and
Yeah.
to follow that wisdom of ourselves.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Um, okay, so how do people find you? How do they work with you? Give us your details. How do we get hold of
Yeah.
you?
So I'm Facebook, Debbie Mcleod. I am on TikTok, Debbie the Intuitive Self. I'm on Instagram, Debbie the Intuitive Self. I tried to keep it all together.
Yeah.
Um, so there's my website, which is in the process of being changed, but nothing's changed yet. So it is the cosmiccrone.co.uk, but I am changing to my name, Debbie Mcleod, but that's under construction. So
Right. Okay.
debbiemcleod.co.uk
Yeah.
will be the one, but I'm under construction with that at the moment.
Okay. But for
So
now, your cosmic chrome.
yeah,
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 which is wonderful. I love that too.
yeah,
Love that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, that's wonderful. And you do the women's circles. So
Mm.
are they in person or do
They
you do
are.
online ones as well?
Yep, they are in person. They're here in Balsall Common in the West Midlands.
Hmm.
And once a month. And the circle's growing. So we've got 20 women there now that come up every month, and that's intuitively led as well. So
Yeah.
we do different things. So last month, we because obviously it was Beltane as well. So we were bringing in the energy of Beltane and Ostara and Eoshi. That's what we brought in, the goddesses, and had some beautiful ribbons and wrote different things on the ribbons, and then we will be using those for the month. So
Yeah.
that is about being held. It's about coming exactly as you are. And the minute that people, I think it was about 5 new ladies last week because it's growing all the time. And
Yeah.
when they left, they said, "Oh, I can't believe it. Everybody's so kind and welcoming, and I didn't know what to expect, but I settled in straight away," and all of those things. And as I've been running the circles, it's just about that learning to trust that the right people come to the circle, and if they're not, they won't stay.
Mm,
Just
that's true. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. That sounds absolutely lovely.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
You.
So I think we are coming to the end of our podcast now,
Yeah,
Debbie.
yeah.
And I just wanted to just really, again, once again, just thank you for coming on here with me. Thank you for all of your sharing today. It's just been absolutely wonderful, magical, beautiful. Love it all. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for that so much. Yeah, and I just wanted to say to everyone at home, with the podcasts, as you know, I've not been doing these this long, but each one is always so different and so magical. I just totally love them. So thank you, Debbie. And just to
You.
mention that the next one, which is on the 22nd of this month, Thursday the 22nd, I have got the beautiful Joanne Anderson coming along. Joanne is just, she's an earth angel.
He is. He is.
She's absolutely, oh, she's amazing. She
He
is a
is.
light language healer. She's an angel Reiki healer and a Rahani healer. So she
Is.
is coming along to be my beautiful guest on the 22nd, Thursday. So
Excited?
really excited about that as well. So yes, so thank you so much, everybody, all of you at home. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate you. And yeah, just sending you all lots of love and look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you.
You're
Sarah,
welcome.
to you too.
Oh, thank you, Jayne.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks so much. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.